Not digress for a moment, but in case I lose you again, I want to go ahead quickly and mention that you also have something going on called greenhouse servers. Not only have you written an ebook on relationship, but you are involved in a tech startup that's called Greenhouse Servers. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yes, hopefully this will stay on because this is a very important, very near and dear to my heart project. I am a very firm believer that we have a responsibility to do clean business, to do green business, to do things that, as much as humanly possible, keeps us from having a negative impact on the earth. Do I still have you there, Rich, or did I lose you again?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we're here.
Yay! So far, so good.
Yes. Wonderful.
Well, with greenhouse servers, it is literally a combination of greenhouse and internet technology. I am a geek, so I'm going to try to simplify as much as I can. You kind of think about it like somebody you got a neighbor that's got too much spaghetti and you've got too many tomatoes is the way that I use the analogy. And hopefully you put things together and you make spaghetti. Well, when you're talking about servers, and every website, I don't care if they say cloud or whatever, every website there is on the internet lives on a server, which is just a fancy name for a computer. It's a great big computer, but it's a computer.
Right.
The thing is about servers is they are furnaces. They generate a lot of heat. I mean, like a lot of heat. And it's very costly to cool any group of servers. When you're talking about sometimes hundreds or thousands of servers, you're talking about astronomical costs to cool those off. Do I still have you?
Yes.
Okay, good. When you are looking at greenhouses in the northern climates, now my partner in this, and by the way, he's the brainchild behind this, is a technical expert in servers, and he lives in Canada, in a place about 5 hours north of Montreal. It's a little city called Saguenay. And in that part of the world, right now they're paying $7, $8 and up for a single stalk of celery or for a single, let's say, an eggplant.
Wow.
Because they're having to ship in everything that's fresh food. Anything that's fresh food is just exorbitantly expensive. And with the drought in California, it's even exacerbated the problem further. Well, they have no shortage of water up there, but the problem is that it's just prohibitively expensive to heat a greenhouse during cold weather.
Right.
With our project, my partner in crime, as it were, has developed a system where we can take all of that excess heat from the servers and actually use it to heat the greenhouses.
Love it.
Both problems at once. What's more, we figure that a bank of about 4,000 servers, which is not an extraordinary amount for any hosting company, can heat up to 200,000 square feet of greenhouse space. That's about 7 to 8 cathedral-sized greenhouses. We said it won't be enough to provide food for all of Canada, but it potentially could supply a good part, if not all, of that province, the Quebec province.
Absolutely.
And what we're hoping eventually to do is, we're working right now, we're still in the development and fundraising phase, but we're hoping eventually to expand that and actually probably extend the program itself, the software and the systems, to other hosting companies, because we feel like it's so crucially important with the global warming happening, with all of the other things happening. Let's take what's right now a waste product, which is all of that heat, and use it for something positive in the most positive ways that we can do it. And our ultimate aim is, as much as humanly possible, to be off the grid and to eliminate all waste products, because we're going to be working directly adjacent to greenhouses. I mean, the buildings are going to abut one against the other. We're even looking at things like paper waste from the server being shredded and turned into compost.
Well, let me ask
really
you this,
looking
Lana.
at zero.
As you are developing these greenhouse servers, Will you be selling hosting to people like me for personal blogs, or only to big businesses, or to both? So have you explored that area yet?
We have kind of started to explore the area. We were first originally talking about, just selling to other hosting companies. We were going to lease the space in this particular system. But I think that as time goes on, we're probably going to be doing kind of a hybrid between the two. Let's face it, this particular type of business is really, the market's been saturated. There's a lot of hosting companies out there. All you have to do is go to Google and search, and you're going to find hosting, page after page after page. However, because this is such an important project, I think there will be a lot of people and a lot of businesses that will want to participate because it's important to them to save the earth. And that's really what this is about. And as a side effect, feed more people, because that's also what it's about.
Back to the agricultural side of it, what kinds of things, Leilani, are you going to plant in the greenhouse, and how will you handle the distribution of the vegetables that you grow?
Okay, well, now that's kind of the beauty of this. We are not going to be doing the greenhouse. We have already been, this is not a new project. This is something we've been working on in the background for quite a while. We have a greenhouse partner already in the area who's all over this idea. He's loving it. We have already been working with the city of Saguenay. My partner has already met with them. He's coming up this week for his third or fourth meeting with them. We're like I said, right now we're in the phase where we're scrambling to try to get some funding for this. Honestly, because of the depressed economy there, and frankly the depressed economy where I am, if we can actually get this going, it's going to cost us a lot less than it would cost for a comparable project in a lot of other parts of the world. But also, because of the climate, it's something that's not going to be something that's easy to do just anywhere. And we really want to focus on making this happen. We're just determined to see it through.
Well, obviously, today we live in a global economy, and a lot of jobs will be created by your project. But what do you say to people who talk about, well, this is shipping jobs out of the country? What about the people who take issue with the operation being in Canada, for example? What do you say to them?
Well, this is something that we actually have talked about at length. The reality is it's not shipping jobs to Canada, it's shipping jobs from Canada here. As I pointed out before, my partner, his name is Frank Bellevance, by the way, and he's a younger man than I am. He's about the age of my kids. This was his brainchild. And when I left my job in November, which was with GoDaddy.com, I had planned to retire. And he approached me about this, and he said, look, I need somebody who knows how to run the business, who still has technical sense, who still understands what we're trying to do here when we go back and forth, that I can trust, that is willing to take this and run with it. And he came and asked me to participate in that level. By the same token, while the climate itself is also going to be a factor with this, there are not a lot of places in the United States that are going to have the extremes of cold climate that you run into as you get up closer to the Arctic Circle, and still have the personnel and all the things that we need to be able to make this functional. That climate is ideal for it. They have plenty of water for the greenhouses. They just need the heat. They have the technical personnel available to be able to run the server end of it. But by the same token, as Frank and I have discussed, from a business perspective, it makes more sense to have the corporate offices here. So we won't have all of the jobs in either Saguenay, Quebec, or in the U.S. We're going to split between, and hopefully both regions will benefit as a result.
I had a question. I
Go ahead,
missed the
Terry.
first part. I had a question. I missed the first part of what you said. And you said that, is it in Canada where you said that a stalk of celery is like $7 or $8?
Yeah, and up. It's just extraordinary how high the prices these folks are paying for fresh vegetables.
Well, I'm seeing in the grocery stores, because, about 50% of all of our produce comes from California. And I'm noticing here in the last couple of years that the price of, lettuce and green pepper and that sort of thing is just going ridiculous high. And the only, of course, they're running out of water. They don't have any water, and plus all the other troubles that they have. And I don't look for that to get any better anytime soon. And it was just a couple of months ago, I bought one green pepper, $1.39, and it wasn't even a very good quality pepper. It's just almost like, I don't know, Soylent Green or something.
I agree. Well, there may come to a point where we're looking for Canada to ship vegetables to us. And, right now the drought in California is absolutely a concern. And this is one of the big reasons that we feel that this project is so crucially important. We're trying to reduce the carbon footprints in a huge way for technology. People do not realize how much of an energy hog that technology really is. It's astronomical. It's necessary. I mean, let's face it, what happens to the U.S. the day that the whole internet crashes? It's not going to be pretty. We don't want that. But we need to find a way to make it greener. And I believe this is one of the best starts that I've seen. When my partner was first telling me about this, and everyone else that I've talked to about it has had the same response. It's like, if they know technology, their reaction to this has been, oh my God, that's the most brilliant plan I've ever heard. And it really is. It's so simple. It's so obvious, and yet it's not being done.
Leilani, how far along are you in this project in terms of the timetable? Where are you at in terms of implementation, in terms of the launch of all of it?
Well, as I said, we're in the process of trying to raise the money to get the structure built and get the infrastructure together. We have an Indiegogo project trying to raise money. We have not gotten any response because I haven't had a chance to promote it. And I appreciate the opportunity to come on to your show tonight so that I've had the chance to at least tell a little bit about it. We are also working with officials at Saguenay, Quebec. We already know that we're going to be eligible for a number of grants and a number of subsidies both in the U.S. and in Quebec because of the energy efficiency, because technically I'm the CEO, so it's a woman-run business, because of a lot of the other different variables that we've talked about. We are looking at making our buildings as energy efficient in both places. We're going to be doing solar here in Arizona where that makes sense. And, with all of those things involved, it takes time. We were hoping to be further along with the Indiegogo project so that we could start construction at the end of May, early June. If we have to wait on money from grants and federal subsidies, things like that from the two countries, then the timeline obviously gets pushed out significantly because all of those take months and sometimes years to get through. If we can get the funding through, it will take us probably 3 to 6 months to be up and operating, if that.
Well, this is very, very, very exciting.
Thank you. We've been working hard on it. We've done budgets. We've done our homework in every way that we've been able to do it right now. We do have a website up if people would like to take a look. We've got a couple of videos from my colleague in French Quebec. He's got a little bit of an accent and a warped sense of humor. Our website is greenhouseservers.com, the obvious. And you can find us on Facebook. We're right now. I'm not maybe putting as much on Facebook and on the website as I can because we're really focusing on trying to get this functioning as soon as we can. Because when it comes to global warming, it's not slowing down for anyone. If we can make a dent, so be it.
Well, I will add you to some more of my Facebook groups that are geared toward promoting things so that you can promote this wide and far. And this show tonight, later on this evening after the show, I will forward a download of the show to you that you'll be welcome to share also. And you can edit or cut whatever, the particular portion about the greenhouse servers to use that as part of your promotional as well. Feel free.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that very much. We have, as I said, we've really been working hard on this. We've been working on it for several months. This is not something that's new. It's not something that we haven't thought out all the particulars. We have, I'm going to actually probably tonight or tomorrow be adding a stylized diagram that says here's how the system fits together so that you can see it. And it really is very simple. And what's even better about it is the program that runs this, the actual software that runs it. We have already done our proof of concept testing on a small scale. We know that we can scale it up, and it's such a tiny little program to run this that it is. We know we could probably run 1,000 different locations on one computer. It's very simple to operate. By the way, we are also going to be using a combination of, in addition to the heat exchange, because obviously you can't do that during the summer. We're also going to be using geothermal energy and geothermal means of cooling the servers during the summer when it's not practical to vent it off into the greenhouse.
Wow. So this is going to be energy efficient all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, we are quite literally shooting for as close as we can make it to a zero carbon footprint. It's not possible to do it entirely, but we're shooting for the closest that we can get to that. We're looking for a sliver of a percent if we can ultimately do that.
Now, your friend on the Canadian end, is he getting a lot of support and interest up there? Is there a lot of Canadian interest as well in this? Yes.
We've got a lot of interest. As I said, the city has been phenomenally supportive. They're working with him now. They're literally offering to sell us a piece of city-owned property, which abuts a highway, which also abuts the agricultural land because of the way that the zoning fits there. You have to have agricultural land on agriculture and vice versa. You can't mix the two. There is no rezoning, or at least not with any kind of a reasonable time frame. They're working on, they're saying, okay, here's how the power connections would work. One of the kind of interesting things, with the drought in California, you don't think of it. It's kind of mind-boggling to us here in the U.S. But when you are working in that part of the world, there is no shortage of water to the extent that they literally do not have a water bill. So your water bill is actually part of your tax. So when you pay your tax annually, it pays for your water for the year.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And as I said, my partner's been an average of once a week meeting with the city of Saguenay officials on one level or another for the past several weeks.
Wow.
Lots of support.
This is very exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing it as it grows and develops and becomes big. How many, in the end, different greenhouses do you foresee in the future maybe coming out of all of this?
Well, what we were looking at, if we can go ahead and get the project started as we have it planned right now. I mean, we've got our building designed. We've got everything ready to start flying. We're looking at an initial server building, which will hold about 4,000 servers approximately. That's going to be slightly over, slightly under. We figure that's going to, sorry about my dog in the background, that's going to cover about 200,000 square feet, which is about, I'm thinking 7, 8, something like that, maybe really large greenhouses of the scope that we're already working with. We even talked to the existing greenhouse owner, and we looked at trying to get a waiver so that we could actually build into that existing structure and start the process sooner. But because of the zoning laws, we couldn't do that. If we build this first building, by the way, which we talked about 4,000 servers, the building itself is not that large. It's only about 50 by 60 feet. It's a very small building as far as the actual server portion of it. And then eventually, if we can actually expand and extend this with other hosting companies on whatever basis, then, it's almost the sky's the limit. You can really build wherever the capacity is.